Hi and welcome to Cooking with Jo. Today I am making the back to basics eggplant lasagna, and I have a secret ingredient that I'll be placing in there which makes it absolutely delicious. I've gone ahead and I've prepared a few things, but I'm going to explain how I make it because it is really simple. It is a little bit time consuming, but when I do mine, I actually do it in a double batch so that I make up a big amount, and that way then I can freeze it for later. I can have leftovers, I could have it for lunches if I wanted to, but I do it and today's a Tuesday, well, when I do it on a family dinner night, which is Tuesdays tonight, I do it in a big one because it can actually feed everyone, and I'm getting a few vegetables in there, sneaking a few different things in. So first of all, what I've done is I've grabbed my onions, and I've grabbed 2 onions because I'm going to be using the mince as well, and I've grabbed 4 cloves of garlic, diced up my onions, crushed my garlic, popped them in the pan, which I did a bit earlier on, pan fry them together, and nothing smells as delicious as frying onion and garlic. And then what I like to do is I actually cut up my carrots. I did around about, these are only baby carrots, I did about 4 or 5 of them into small thin slices, and this is the leftover celery. I did around about 4 or 5 pieces of celery. One of the good things about doing your eggplant lasagna, it does not matter what vegetable you throw in, anything's acceptable, okay? And I had some leftover mushrooms. I think I had 2 mushrooms in there, threw that in. You guys will get rid of it, whatever's left in the fridge. Now, with the eggplant, go back one step. I pan fried that all together and just let that sit, and I'm going to be putting the mince in a second. But before I get into the mince component, the very first thing I do is I get my eggplant and I slice them into nice thin strips, lay it out on a paper towel. Okay, so I lay them out on the paper towel, and this is really best to do about 20 minutes before you start cooking. And eggplant sweats a little, so what you've got to do is you sprinkle a little bit of salt over your eggplant, put another piece of paper towel over the top, and then just let it sit there for around about 20 minutes. And then for me, I pop it on the Weber, just cook it up on the Weber. So these are going to be my lasagna sheets, which are these. You can do them in the oven, you can do them on the pan, however fits into your kitchen, it doesn't really matter. Now, what I've done, and I don't normally do this, but we also had some capsicum. So I've also roasted some capsicum, which I'm going to be layering into, I'm just going to cut that into strips, from the strips into half, and I'm going to be layering that into the lasagna. Okay, so basically, we've then come across here, you've pan fried your onion, your garlic, you've thrown in your vegetables, whatever you've got in the kitchen, throw it in. And then I put in my mince. Now the trick that I have is, number one, bring your mince down to a little bit to room temperature. So when you get your eggplants out, grab your mince out, just pop it on the bench at the same time. I enjoy pork and veal mince. It's lighter, it's tastier. I prefer that more than the beef mince when I do my eggplant lasagnas. So I've used here 1 kilo of mince. Now my little trick is that when I come over here, I pop the mince in, and I'm going to use 1 tin of tomatoes and 1 tin. Now you can use I think it's got the piccata, but you've got your tomato puree, so you've got that there. It gives it a more nice, richy flavour. There's a couple of different varieties of this one with some basil and other things as well. Now, I don't pan fry off the mince. I place the mince in here, and at the same time just bring that through, put in the tomato bits, and then just stir it through. Then just give it a little bit of a cook up, and then I bring the temperature down and I let it slowly cook through. This way then you get, the mince doesn't go clumpy, and it is really nice when we put it into the lasagna component, okay? So that is one of my little tricks, and I have done that. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like. Just pop it, yeah. Okay, so it's been sitting there, and then I've got my spoon with the holes in, and I'm going to be then place this when we start layering it into my bowl. Okay, now you can use any herbs and spices that you like. What I have done today is I've used basil. We've got basil in our garden, and I've used thyme. You can use Italian herbs, which I quite often do, just didn't have any today. So I've used these two as a combination, and a little bit of salt and pepper. But literally, you can make it your own with your own herbs and spices, okay? Okay, so when we're going to get to your cheese sauce, what I like to do is this is really super easy as well, 1 tub of the ricotta, the large one, and I've popped in 2 eggs. Now, here is my little trick. I have grated up, there's a couple of different varieties you can get, but today I've got Dutch smoked cheese. This one's a soft cheese. I normally get a firmer smoky cheese. They just didn't have any when I was at the shops, but I've got this one, and then we pop in, so it's around probably about 2 cups worth of cheese, I suppose. And we're going to mix that through. So I've got 2 eggs in there, a little bit of pepper I will put in, and my cheese. And this gives you that smoky taste. It is absolutely delicious. My son-in-law, well actually apparently my husband says at dinner time when I make this one and we sit down at family dinner night, he goes, Joe, love that smoky cheese. And I didn't realise that until I was at my daughter's house in Melbourne the other week back, and my son-in-law says, who does this remind you of? Joe, love that smoky cheese. I went, what are you talking about? He goes, that's what Andy says. So that is what my husband says, and my son-in-law says, I agree, it is delicious. So that is the white sauce, so simple and easy. Okay, now you can put it into a big dish. Believe it or not, I'm using 2 dishes today. I normally have a large one of these. I've searched everywhere in the kitchen, cannot find it. It's maybe at one of the kids' house, maybe it's at mum's house, but I don't know, can't find it. So we're going to go with the small one today, but that's okay. Rightio. So first up, let's just put a layer, I'm not sure if you can see me there, a layer in the bottom. So once again, I like to take out the juice, just give it a bit of a shake, and just give a layer into the bottom. Okay. Might grab another spoon as well, just so I can do the. Right here. So I'm just giving this out. Okay, just flattening it out there. I'm going to pop in. You only need to dollop this over. Okay, give it a few dollops, just to spread it around. Then what I'm going to do is start placing in my eggplant and layering it. Good thing about eggplants, you can pretty well pop it in any little spot, and all the little bits that were small bits, you can stick them wherever you like. I'm going to use a little bit of throw a bit of capsicum across, nice and roasted, that has been on the Weber. Rightio, level 1 done. Let's go back and do it again. Once again, just give a shake out on the juices. Bring it back across. Place in a dollop of the cheese sauce. And you can make this layer a little bit more thicker if you wanted to. Okay, layer up one more time. This is a nice way to get your sneaky veggies in. Oh, it's looking absolutely divine. So far you can see how I'm layering it up. And I'm going to put in, oops, let me get a little bit more capsicum. You don't need too much capsicum, just enough that when you start slicing them through. And this would be, when we slice this one up, you could do this into easy 4 serves. So I'm just going to put one more thin layer of mince right on the top. Bring it back. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing this is that when I pop it back in the oven, it'll keep cooking the vegetables coming through. So the eggplant will get that little bit longer in the oven. And then lastly, I'm going to be popping on some grated cheese. So this one I like is the cheddar, mozzarella and parmesan. It's a 3 combination. It is really tasty. It's not as, if you just use a plain cheddar, it will get a little bit oily on top, whereas because it's got that mozzarella base in it, you normally put mozzarella on pizzas, it'll give it that nice crispiness when you pop it back in the oven for a little bit. You only need to pop it back in for maybe 20 minutes or so, because you're really just finishing it off. Okay. And then I'll make, with what's left, I'll do up another one. And then that way then I can just freeze that and have that for another dinner another night. Okay, here we go. This is my quick and easy eggplant lasagna that I guarantee your family will enjoy. Smoky cheese is the bomb. Using your vegetables, using tomato, a little bit of ricotta, and it's easy, really it is. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you enjoy it, let me know, and thanks for watching Cooking with Jo.